Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of We Watch Bad Films. I'm Gary and joining me this week will be Jay. This time we're watching 2010's Birdemic and it is a masterpiece, and by masterpiece I mean absolute piece of rubbish. I can't say much more about it other than we'll be laughing uncontrollably during our review of it, so I apologise in advance for that. But check it out and I'll see you on the other side.
Hello, Jay.
Hello, Gary.
Hello again, and how are you?
Yeah, I'm great, yes. Sweating in the hot UK summer weather. How are you?
Sure has been warm this week, very warm. We've just had our very first drop of rain here in Essex, but I feel like it's stopped already. Surely we're due a lot more to break this temperature.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the massive thunderstorms. That's what I'm waiting for. Nothing yet.
Yeah, indeed. To tide us over while we get to the thunderstorms, do you have a bad film we can watch today?
Of course I do.
Oh.
I've been trawling through the special archives for the worst films ever made, and one that keeps popping up is a certain film called, I mean, it's quite a mouthful, but here we go. Birdemic, Shock and Terror.
Birdemic, as in bird pandemic.
Yeah, you can infer that, yeah.
That's a hell of a portmanteau. Okay. Birdemic, Shock and Terror.
Yeah.
So, if I give this a quick look up, I can see it has received a mighty 1.8 out of 10 at IMDb. I don't think I've ever seen anything score that low before. And we've watched rubbish, but 1.8 out of 10 is special.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like it's that's a score for registering that it's been made, and that's about it.
The film played. That's what you got the 1.4. Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly saw something on a screen.
As I cast my way down the complete non-entities that is the cast list, there is one name that sticks out, and that's Tippi Hedren. Tippi Hedren, of course, a big star back in the 60s, starred in a lot of Hitchcock films, and allegedly was quite the object of desire of Hitchcock.
Hang on a second, wasn't there a film made about him vaguely perving over her recently?
Yes, starring Toby Jones.
Right, okay. I've not seen it. Have you seen it?
Yes, it was a BBC sort of movie, and it gives him the opportunity to do a wonderful Tippi Hedren type impression.
You mean Alfred Hitchcock, right?
Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock. You've heard of him.
She speaks. Oh, the birds.
Yes. Oh, good bird. Yeah, this is a horrible thing to say, but I've never watched The Birds. I really must. I've got a couple of Hitchcock gaps in my history, and The Birds is one of them. So, do you think I'm not going to be able to follow the fast-moving plot of Birdemic as I haven't seen The Birds?
Got a few hitch gaps. Are you telling me you're going to watch Birdemic, Shock and Terror before you watch The Birds? My God, I think you'd probably be one of a very small number of people who have done it in that order.
But I'm pretty sure it's what the director intended. I'm the only person doing it properly. All the rest of you guys just doing it wrong.
But just as an aside, because I'm easily distracted, apparently Tippi Hedren's real name is Natalie. I don't know. Yeah.
Very common. I had 4 Tippies in my class at school.
I thought it was some sort of Native American tent. No, maybe I'm making that up.
That stinks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't we watch this piece of poo and find out what we thought afterwards?
Oh God. Okay, let's do it.
In other news today, the population of polar bears is declining rapidly.
Hi, my name is Jerry Owens. I'm from Solar Power Accessories.
This morning, flocks of seagulls and crows were found dead in downtown San Jose and along Highway 101.
Hey, I thought I told you to stand back. These birds are contaminated.
The crows and seagulls also caused an accident on Highway 101. Authorities are investigating the cause of their death.
Rod, let's get out of here.
I think they're eagles.
What's going on?
This is Birdemic.
I'm not worried about the blackbirds. They're not the dangerous animal. It's the human species that's the dangerous, menacing, and terrifying animal.
I mean, why would they just attack?
I don't know.
OJ, so we just watched Birdemic, Shock and Terror. And I think before we capture any thoughts from that, I want to attempt a bit of a synopsis of what we just watched. So the film is an hour and a half long, but, you know, much like Hitchcock's masterpiece Psycho, we spent the first good chunk of the film on an apparently unrelated B-plot. The first 45 minutes, we follow our hero, Rod, who is hooked up with an college friend, Natalie. You're ruining the synopsis, man. And they drive around for a very long time in a blue Mustang. Go on a date to it says on the front, it's an English pub. It has Irish themes everywhere. They go to a nightclub where they're the only people.
Oh my god, the nightclub scene. Oh my god, I forgot about
You've
that.
forgotten. And there is a guy singing a song about hanging. That's at least 2 minutes of film right there.
Oh my god, this thing.
They then make out at the motel, cut to black. It's the next day. So that's taken all of that. That was 43 odd minutes. They wake up the next morning to be savaged by the worst CGI ever on film. As the birds, they are eagles, I should point out. The eagles are coming. The eagles attack them. They and another couple escape in a van, but not before defending themselves with coat hangers they've taken from the house.
The coat hangers! I forgot about that as well.
It's well known by ornithologists that if you want to defend yourself from birds, use coat hangers.
The coat hangers.
Because this guy that they meet up with used to be in the army, he's got a load of guns in the back. And I mean, not just like a handgun, automatic rifles and all sorts. But they drive along merrily shooting out of the window, hoping to hit. They pick up a couple of kids whose parents have been pecked to death.
Don't ask me.
I'm going to go all out and spoil everything about this film. You know, if you're bothered about spoilers for this film, you're listening to the wrong podcast. They then go to a grocery store where it's $100 for gas for some reason.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, they talk to the guy who's selling the worst actor of all time until the next few scenes when there's even worse actors.
Yeah, they get some supplies, and again, all the while just stopping, shooting occasionally. Lots of long, lingering shots of shooting, and just driving around.
Whilst in the back, I don't remember. There was certainly a scene when they were shooting at the birds, when then there was the road behind them. There's just loads of cars just driving along like normal, going to the shops. Just normal
Going
people
up and
in their
down.
cars.
Just going about their business. You know, clearly they've bought bird protection insurance.
Oh my god.
They come across a red bus, and a London double-decker bus, which says on the side, "World's only double-decker video game bus."
They've already been at this pub beforehand. About half an hour later, they come back to the same pub.
A bunch more people get their eyes pecked out, or get little red lines on their cheeks, one of the two. This does mean only Rod and Natalie and the two children are left alive. They drive for approximately another 7 hours, realise they're hungry, so they pull over at a beach. They spend another 6 or 7 hours catching one fish, which they boil along with some seaweed.
Seaweed! They have a bowl! They boil this huge fish with some seaweed!
Yeah. It's a very popular Californian recipe, yeah. Kids refuse to eat it. The eagles attack again, but while they are cowering, a flock of doves appear and chase the eagles away. The end.
Can I just
Now,
interject there?
You may.
We only realised that the ending was that doves appeared and saved everyone. We only realised that when you looked up the synopsis, because it was not obvious at all in the film whatsoever.
Hands up, I missed that on first pass. But I looked again, and the bird models are slightly black if they're eagles, slightly white if they're doves, and there is a slight ooh sound effect in the soundtrack. So
doves versus eagles.
It's the classic combat.
Eagles versus doves. I cannot believe you were able to just explain the synopsis, A, without falling to bits with laughter, and B, whilst actually making it sound like the film made sense, because the film did not make sense at all.
Well, we watched a lot of bad films, and I think at one point we did say to each other, "This is the worst thing we've ever seen."
Oh God! I mean, we seem to do this. We seem to watch some of these films, and then we're like, "Oh my God, this is so much worse than the ones that we've seen before. How can that be possible?" But this one, for me, it just absolutely took it to another level. I can't imagine a film being any worse than this. This is the worst on every single level. The worst film I have ever seen, and it is hilarious.
Sometimes films are poorly made, as in they've got really bad direction, or the acting's not quite there. Maybe they've got good music. Sometimes the shots aren't quite right, or it's been edited poorly, or you can tell the script hasn't been worked on. This has failed on every single level. Most shots are out of focus. The camera sometimes can't sit still. It tracks around conversations, and I can't really understand why.
There's a conversation when she takes him to meet her mum. Is this huge woman in this bright blue outfit, and the camera just continually pans from left to right as this huge old woman is talking. What am I watching?
Yeah, that is a thing that happened, certainly.
I don't know how you do it, Gary. I think this film nearly killed me.
Well, you are covering for the one scene where I nearly died from asphyxiation, where I couldn't stop laughing.
Oh my God! I lost it. I lost it quite early on. I think. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. I know exactly what it was. Yes. Okay. So you ready for this? The phrase that tipped you over the edge was the Art and Pumpkin Festival.
Oh my God! Oh my God! They go. Gary, you'll have to explain what that means. I can't.
Well,
I can't.
the Art and Pumpkin Festival, I think it's quite self-explanatory. I mean, I have one in my hometown, I'm sure you do too, where you have an art and a pumpkin festival.
They
And
just go on a date and they go
just
through
go
the
there.
streets, and then
They
there's this
just go
big
there.
sign over the street that says Art and Pumpkin Festival. They just walk through this art and pumpkin.
Yep, that was one of those things where it just got you, and you couldn't recover from that, I don't
Oh
think.
my god! Sometimes these films, it's like it doesn't have to be anything specific, or even if you pick it apart. If you explain it, it's not really anything hilarious. It's just like it. I don't know. It's so bizarre. It just pushed me over the edge.
So my guess is this was filmed in Half Moon Bay in California. My guess is there is actually an Art and Pumpkin Festival, and they just rocked up and filmed a bit of it just so they had some footage of something to do to fill out the time.
Yeah. Can I just also say that this has nothing to do with the plot? The two characters, the boy and the girl, they literally go to an art and pumpkin festival in the street for about 10 minutes and nothing happens. Then they leave and then the plot continues. Oh, I'm sorry. It does culminate in a huge, like, I don't know, a 20-foot pumpkin being carved into a face. There's some guy. Oh, God. I can't even explain it. It's it defies explanation.
No, I mean, but the scene that killed me, I'm not convinced I'm going to be able to get this out. But
I'm not convinced either. I'm going already.
our two couples are on the run, and then they stop somewhere, and one of the guys says to the other, "Hey, where's Becky?" And he says to her, "She's gone for a shit."
Completely po-faced and serious, and we both said,
Yeah.
"Did he just say that?"
It's quite a serious tone, and he says, "She's gone for a shit." It's just out of nowhere. But then poor Becky. So the ladies are off wandering the wilderness looking for somewhere to dump, and they're carrying toilet roll with them. They are carrying toilet roll with them. That's the bit that made it for me.
I thought, surely he didn't just say that they've gone for a shit, and I just thought, well, I'm just going to pretend that he said that as a joke for you. And then the two women are sort of walking through the undergrowth, and I was like, yeah, so, and then the one woman points over there, and I said, as a joke, she's pointing out, or you can go and take a shit over there, and I'll go and take a shit over there. But then, as she walks off, she's holding a toilet roll, and she crouches down, and she starts to take her trousers off, and she actually was going to take a shit.
But you know, I don't know how you can laugh, because then very sadly, while she's mid-dump, an eagle comes and pecks her face off.
Oh my god! Most ridiculous scenes I've ever come across. Oh my god.
There is, during the film, an attempt to explain the bird madness. And do you recall exactly what's caused the bird madness?
Oh, yeah. Do I recall? Yeah, because we're like some sort of leaden weight bashed repeatedly over my head. They go on and on about the environment and global warming, but in this like weird, vague kind of like, oh yeah, global warming's really bad and humans are destroying the world. And then I think that every now and again they sort of mention, and the global warming is making birds hungry, and so they're attacking humans because of humans. And often characters say, yeah, but I'm not worried about the birds. I'm more scared of humans. Having just watched loads of people being viciously attacked to death by birds. Oh my god.
We get this wonderful bit of exposition dumped on us by a Dr. Jones, who claims it is the bird flu virus, who is standing on a bridge wearing a mask in the open air. I don't know what he's doing. No idea. And then he disappears. We never see him again.
Oh my God. I wrote some notes down. Well, the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then I just literally couldn't hold my pen any longer because of
Yes.
the sheer physical hilarity of the proceeding. I wrote down some words: orchestral score. Well, because
Yeah.
I think the first 5 minutes, it started. What, even the let's just say the credits. It started with this very lovely orchestral score, and I thought, oh, okay, they've spent some money, they've paid a real composer, they've hired an orchestra. All right, there's a level of competence that I wasn't expecting. That goes out the window.
Mm-hmm.
They find
Yep.
any old toshy bit of library music that they can find and plonk it in randomly. What else have I written? I've written down the words Mona Lisa Moon. That's one of the names of the actors,
So,
apparently.
yeah, we should linger on that character a minute, because every time that character's around, they plug imaginepeace.com, which is Yoko Ono's website.
Oh, was
And
that Mona Lisa Moon?
Yes, that was Mona Lisa Moon.
Wow.
And so they plug Yoko Ono's website. Don't know why. And every time she appears, they also play a non-copyright infringing version of Imagine by John Lennon.
I mean, you're saying that as if it makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Let's just reiterate that. Whenever this lady appears, who is obviously ethnically Asian, this weird plinky plonky Imagine-esque John Lennon music plays, and this woman is always wearing a white t-shirt with the words Imagine Peace on, or sometimes she's massaging some random guy with a poster behind her with imaginepeace.com, and there's no explanation for it. It is utterly bizarre, which is just one of the many facets of this utterly atrociously bizarre film.
Yes, utterly true. Yeah. So speaking of actresses, in the preamble we talked about Tippi Hedren. Did you spot Tippi Hedren in the film?
Was she one of the terrible CGI eagles? No.
She was. No, she wasn't. So in the motel scene, Tippi Hedren, Julia and Jack, the film which she's in, was playing in the background. So they thought they'd credit her there. Maybe it was just to make it look like she was in the film. I don't know.
Oh my God.
That's it.
That's outrageous.
It's worth it, isn't it?
She's like second or third billing in this film.
Uh-huh.
He's telling me she's billed in like the main cast because a film she happens to be in is playing on a TV in the background in one of the scenes.
Yeah. So rather than put it in the sort of,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was it. I just want to throw out a couple of wonderful lines that we heard.
Did you write them down, Gary? I hope you wrote them down.
His sleazy friend who said, "A day without sex is a day wasted." And he does a little double fist pump when he does it, which is really attractive.
Oh dear.
But I mean, our favourite, I think, was the aforementioned mum who said, "You need a secure financial husband."
A secure financial husband.
Yeah.
That reminds me of
made of financials.
Is your husband secure? Is he securely fitted to the ground? Is he going to fly off at any time? And is he financial? Is he actually finance embodied? I remember in the opening credits it had the phrase supporting casts.
Yes, it did. That's your first clues. Things were not going well.
Yeah. I mean, that was the opening scene is basically a camera sort of sellotaped to a dashboard, wobbly, sort of driving along the road, with all the normal credits come up, and then the credits supporting casts, plural.
Yeah, And that's a
Like,
long scene. It takes a long time.
yeah. Yeah.
So, I guess this film earned every 1.8 of its marks on IMDb. What would you say?
I mean, this film's caused some sort of physical reaction in me. And like we said earlier, we've seen some absolutely gash films recently. Films that you could never really imagine exist, and sort of people signed off on. I will give it this: I cannot believe it got made.
Apparently, it took 4 years to make. I'm amazed it took more than 4 hours.
It felt like 4 years watching it.
It did a bit. It did a bit. Yes. Jay, would you recommend anyone else watch Birdemic: Shock and Terror?
A bit like the previous film I watched. I think I would recommend it. As long as you had someone sort of like watching you, so that you didn't sort of hyperventilate and collapse.
I do think it's worth a watch. Kind of to say you've seen it. It's so bad. It really is poor.
It is so bad. I'm struggling to find the vernacular to sort of explain how utterly abysmal this film is, but it's also deeply entertaining whilst also being incredibly boring at the same time.
That's quite a feat, isn't it? It is made very earnestly. It's been made on purpose, like they think this is going to be good. You don't get any sense of, that'll do. You get the sense of this is what they intended to make.
Yeah. I mean, it just keeps on giving, really, because it's the every scene, some awful bit of dialogue comes out one of these characters' mouths, whilst the depths of acting is plumbed to levels that you couldn't possibly imagine. Didn't I say there was, like, every now and again there's like some sort of like little set piece where they stop the car, they get out and they chat to this new character who appears, dumps some exposition, then disappears again. And each time they stop and meet one of these characters, the acting just gets worse and worse. Do you remember the cowboy scene?
I do. The sort of sub Ronnie Barker guy. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the film eventually goes to the redwoods of California, and I feel like some of those trees were acting better than this cowboy. I mean, he just to call it acting is to sort of it's not really encapsulating the absolute sheer dead-eyed, hollow-souled look that this man gives the camera.
Well, we've skipped over the whole tree hugger sequence where the guy wearing definitely not his real hair talks about how wonderful the earth is and, you know, how terrible humans are.
I mean, I'm struggling to even start with some of these scenes because there is so much wrong with all of them. I remember thinking when this man who's talking about, the global warming is a terrible thing. It means all the forests are drying up and there's no water anywhere. And I just remember as he's saying that, he's standing in front of a lush green forest with the very loud, almost too loud sound of water rushing past in some sort of stream, completely contradicting every word coming out of his mouth.
Yep, that was surely a very special scene. Well, there we go. What an experience. Thanks for watching, Jay.
Thank you, Gary. I'm going to have a lie down.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a good cry.
Yeah. I think what we should do is probably find the nearest beach and stand staring out to the horizon whilst terrible CGI eagles and doves disappear for about 25 minutes.
Oh, you mean like the end credits sequence?
Yes, I do. The never-ending shot.
Yes, wonderful. Well, good to watch. Catch you next time.
See you soon, Gary.